This is Graeham Watts with Intero Real Estate, and today we're going to be covering a little bit of a dry subject, but important to know nonetheless, the California landlord rights to enter a property. All right, so let's dive right into this dry subject, and I'm going to fill it with a ton of information for you that you need to know. So as defined by Chapter 2, Section 1954 of the Civil Code, landlords have the right to enter properties under certain circumstances. All right, so what are the lawful reasons a landlord can enter a property? Well, number one, in case of an emergency. Number two, to make the necessary or agreed upon repairs, decorations, alterations, or improvements, or to supply the necessary agreed upon services. Number three, to show the unit to prospective buyers, mortgagees, tenants, workers, or contractors, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. Number four, to perform an inspection in compliance with California security deposit laws, particularly when the property has been abandoned or surrendered by the tenant. Number five, pursuant to a court order. Number six, for purposes related to water conservation and submetering as stipulated in the California Civil Code 1954.201. Number seven, to comply with building inspection requirements concerning elevated elements and load-bearing components as per Health and Safety Code Section 17973. It's also important to know that landlords cannot use this right to abuse or harass the tenant. All right, here's the other thing that people don't really realize. Normal business hours. So you can actually only gain entrance during normal business hours except in emergencies or when the tenant has abandoned or surrendered the premises. Entry is not permissible outside of normal business hours without the tenant's consent given at the time of entry. So the tenant basically has to agree to give you access outside of normal business hours for the above reasons that I mentioned earlier. 24-hour advance notice. So a landlord must provide tenants reasonable written notice of their intent to enter, specifying the date, approximate time, and purpose of entry. And you can only enter during normal business hours unless, as I mentioned earlier, the tenant has given consent outside of those hours. The notice can be personally delivered or left with someone of suitable age at the property, or placed in an obvious spot near the main entry door. A 24-hour notice is generally considered reasonable unless evidence suggests otherwise. So notice by mail. You can give your tenants notice by mail, but mailing to notice to tenants at least 6 days before the intended entry is typically deemed reasonable, barring any evidence to the contrary. Showing the property. This is what I've come up against all the time, of course, being in real estate. If the purpose of entry is to show the property to prospective purchasers, oral notice either in person or by telephone is actually considered acceptable. This is valid if, within the previous 120 days, you have given the tenant written notice, and in that written notice, you have said that oral notification might occur. As before, 24-hour notice is generally presumed reasonable unless proven otherwise, and the landlord or agent must leave written evidence of entry inside the unit at the time of entry. All right, maintenance and repairs. Tenants and landlords can agree orally to an entry for repairs or services. This agreement should specify the date and time, and it must be within 1 week of the agreement. And in these instances, written notice is not required. So the next question is, when is notice not required? So that's in these following situations. 1, to respond to an emergency. 2, if the tenant is present and consents to entry at the time. Number 3, if the tenant has surrendered or abandoned the property. Before you send notice or do anything, make sure you do check with your attorney beforehand. And remember, I can't provide legal advice and I'm not an attorney, but I still hope you found this helpful. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button and you can stay up to date on new information coming out about California real estate. And feel free to look through any properties available in the Bay Area by clicking on the link below, or if you want a free home evaluation, click on the link below. Thanks, and I hope that was helpful.